Views expressed in the videos are my observation, analysis of events, persons based on principles of astrology. It's not my intent to predict, forecast absolute outcomes, only suggest how they may unfold. Nothing is set in stone. I could be wrong, but often I'm right. My desire is not to promote fear, only inform about what we see unfolding. It is our wish to prepare our subscribers for events that could affect them, their family, their goals, and their future, to help to prepare for what you may already suspect is happening, and to send a warning shot across the bow and raise a flag of concern. Our goal is to help, not hinder, in these perilous times, to inspire and offer possible direction, and to reveal that a greater plan and purpose are behind all that is happening. Eventually, we will see a brighter day. If you would like to show your appreciation for our work on these videos or this channel, and also the Knowing Whispers channel, you can always click on the word thanks at the bottom of all the videos. It's Robert Cosmar of the Astrology of Life YouTube channel and the 3 Substack publications, Knowing Whispers, Messages from the Universe, Trump in America, and Deep Thoughts Beyond Logic and Reasoning. Today my video is going to be a comparison, and what I want to do here is to show you a comparison in the horoscopes of both Donald Trump and also Elon Musk, both the Western and also the Vedic, why these two men have been able to amass such great wealth, and why it is seemingly, in particular in the case of Donald Trump, that the law or the judicial system doesn't seem to be able to bring him to justice, okay, according to our particular laws and our particular beliefs about such things. So I'm going to take some time here and point out some things in the different charts. I'll show you something in the Western chart of Elon Musk that is kind of baffling to me, and maybe some of the other astrologers who watch this channel will be able to point something out that I'm missing. Okay, this is not meant to be an all-inclusive and comprehensive delineation of both of these men's lives. I'm going to simply focus on certain aspects, okay, in their charts and explain to you the component of karma, okay? Karma is becoming, for me and maybe for you, a very important question when it comes to understanding why things have happened the way they have in America. Because once we understand it and we embrace it, it gives us a much better understanding of why it is that things don't suit our emotional needs. In other words, why is it that Donald Trump hasn't been put in prison? The things that he has done deserve to be in prison, okay? So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and I'll try to explain that to you, okay? Because it does definitely create a view of life that is quite different than the one that most people have accepted and believed in since the time they were born, okay? Now, this is Donald Trump's natal chart. You've probably seen this 1,000 times, maybe 1,000,000 times if you've been all over the internet. And the key factor here in Donald Trump's wealth has to do with this Jupiter here and the closeness of the aspect of it to his Uranus up here. You can see that they're very close in a trine. Trines in astrology essentially are gimmies, okay? In other words, whatever it is that is represented by the trines, whatever houses are involved, that those factors just kind of seem to work in your favor, and you don't have to actually, fight to get these things. It's obvious that Donald Trump doesn't have to fight to give, or for people to give him millions of dollars. ABC is giving him $15 million to settle a defamation suit. Okay, a couple of people, Jeff Bezos and also Mark Zuckerberg, are giving $1 million to Donald Trump for his inaugural, okay, party, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So why is it that someone with that behavior and that attitude is able to do these things? Emotionally, logically, it makes no sense. Karmically, though, it makes a lot of sense, because essentially karma says What you see is what is. You may not understand it, you may not like it, but it is what it is, and it's there to teach us a lesson. Okay? It's there to teach us a lesson about ourselves and why we've gotten to this place and the price that we are going to have to pay as a result of that. Okay, so moving forward, okay, to the Vedic horoscope of Donald Trump. This is something that I have shown many, many times. This particular chart comes off of the Jyotish Studio or Jyotish Tools website that is on the internet. And if you are curious about it, I can give you a link to that if you ask me about that. But the thing I like about this particular online video or online service in terms of Vedic astrology is that it includes in the houses not only the houses that are there or the planets that are in the houses, such here we have Jupiter and Rahu in Trump's 10th house, but also the aspects from the planets that are aspecting that particular house. So this can change the entire outlook and appearance of a particular house, particularly if you have a malefic in that house or a benefic. And when you do an analysis of a Vedic chart, you have to take into consideration not only the conditions of the planets, the houses that they're in, circumstances in terms of the aspects to them, and then make a determination as to whether or not it is as lucky as you might think it could be or not quite, or as bad as you might think it can be or not quite. The big thing here about Donald Trump obviously has to do with the 8th house, the house of other people's money, the ability to receive money from others. You can see down here that he has Jupiter, and the status of Jupiter at that particular time is that his Jupiter had slowed down. And I'm not sure here whether or not the D means that it has gone direct, but it is in a state of being slow, which empowers it considerably, which means that the effect of what we see in this particular area of his life is above the norm. Planets that are either slow, because they are going retrograde or they are starting to go direct, have more power than planets that are either moving in retrograde motion or they're going direct and they've moved beyond a certain amount of degrees. So this tells the astrologer something about the impact of that planet in that house and how that could be seen in the life of the person. You can see over here that this particular Jupiter is coming from the 2nd house. This is the house of wealth. In Vedic astrology, certain planets aspect certain houses in this particular chart, the diamond chart. And in this particular chart, Jupiter is going to aspect the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th houses. And you can see here where Jupiter here, the 7th, Jupiter here, the 9th. And we also have Jupiter here in the 5th. You can't see it right at the moment. I don't think. There you go. So wealth, the ability to accumulate wealth. The family life is also ruled by this. The things that you eat. You can see here that Saturn aspects this, which is why Donald Trump seems to like to have Big Macs. But the important point here is the placement in the 2nd house, the aspect that it has to the 8th house, and the fact that Donald Trump is able to get people to give him money, and there is no logical, ethical, moral reason for that. But karmically, there is. That this particular individual who was born in 1946 was destined to be wealthy, destined to be in the atmosphere of wealth, and that he would have a tremendous impact upon the lives of a lot of people, which has seemed to grow and grow and grow over the years. You can see here's his famous Mars that's in Leo in the 1st house, whereas in the Western chart it's in the 12th house. It's close to the ascendant in his chart, which makes its impact much stronger, which is why we see a lot of the gruff bullishness, the narcissism, things of this particular nature going on. When Donald Trump was elected to be the president through the election, Jupiter at that time was conjuncting the sun and also Rahu here. Rahu means insatiable worldly desire. The sun obviously has to do with the person's image, ego, their what they hope to accomplish, what their goals, their ambitions, and their dreams are. So there is a lot of things in this particular chart, like I said, that reflect on who he is, why his life has been the way that it is, why he is able to get away with things. Okay? And again, the difficulty here is that you and I have been trained since birth to believe in a systems of right and wrong, good and bad, good and evil. Okay? But when it comes to individuals, the reality of it is that there is a karmic factor in their life, and that they are destined to play a particular part in the lives of others. And that what we see, while it may not seem fair, okay, is a result of accumulated karma, probably through lifetimes, and also according to the overall purpose of the universe at a particular time. We are in a particular time where massive changes are being thrust upon us and about to begin to get even more. And this, no doubt, is going to create, and already has started to create, a tremendous amount of anxiety and fear, and all the things that come along with that. All right. That is the unpleasant side of things. The more pleasant side of things is that the values and the beliefs of people are being forced to change. Unlike any time previous to this, we're seeing in America and in the world a sense and a pressure that there is instability. You can't rely on these systems that have been set up. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to rely on something. Okay? And the only thing that you can rely upon when these systems start to fail is yourself and the universe. Okay? If you do not have a relationship with yourself or the universe, it's going to make it extremely stressful upon you, because your mind and your emotions are going to be impacted by all of the instability that you see coming about. Okay? So, again, Donald Trump is true to his horoscope, particularly his Vedic horoscope. Now we're going to go to a perplexing horoscope. All right? This is the horoscope of Elon Musk, and there is, I'd say, probably a better than average indication that this is the correct chart. Okay? I don't know exactly where they got this particular time involved, but I might be able to search it on the internet. I may have done that before and I've just forgotten where I saw this, but it's pretty strange in a way, and I'll tell you why I think it's strange. He's the wealthiest man in the world. They just released the fact that he's worth about $400 billion. He, for all practical purposes, probably bought the election in the country here, the United States, bought Trump, right? And he now, in a roundabout way, without saying it, owns the United States of America. We thought it was going to be Trump, okay? Trump is just kind of the Renfield, so to speak, to do the dirty work, all right? It's very possible that with Musk, we have the mastermind behind all of the devious things that we see going on. We have a situation now where the super wealthy are coming together to try to increase the level of their control and greed over countries, over economies, over militaries, all right? So that the circumstances which under democracy were slightly in favor of the people, it's now become owned by the super wealthy. Now, what's the problem with this horoscope? Okay, when you're talking about wealth, this is the second house, this is the eighth house of this chart. The only planet, well, I guess the moon's in there, okay? And the moon does get somewhat of a favorable aspect here. Okay. But no, I'll take that back. It doesn't get any, which makes more sense. The moon here in the second house. Okay. And Mars here in the 8th house, the money houses. Okay. But the thing about it is, you can see here that the moon is not really favorably aspected, although Mercury does sextile the moon here. And Mars is squared by Jupiter, and also it also has a connection with the north and the south node. But there's no indication in the Western chart of any extreme tendency for a person to be super wealthy. I don't see it. Maybe someone out there sees something that I don't see, and if you'd like to comment, by all means do that. So if you're looking at this chart, and depending upon your level of knowledge of astrology and your curiosity to want to investigate the depth of this and to come up with an idea, you might find something that is not obvious right here. But for what I'm showing you right here, it would not make sense to me that this is the richest man in the world. However, when I go over here to his Vedic horoscope, it's a different matter altogether. All right. Again, this is a Vedic chart. It is gotten through a website on the internet. I believe it's called Joitish Tools. Okay. And you can do a search for that on the internet, and you'll probably find the link to it. It's one of the only astrology programs, Vedic astrology programs, that actually shows you the planets that are aspecting the house. The boldness here indicates the planet is by natal placement in that house. The shaded off are aspects from planets to that house. Okay, now this chart, when you look at it and you take a look at the aspects of the houses and the planets that are in them, doesn't seem necessarily to be that impressive. But when you go down here to the 8th house, the house of other people's money, the house of the ability to receive money from like lotteries and other types of gifts, I guess you might call it that, or through whatever means people are able to draw money to themselves and they don't necessarily have to work for it. Okay, we have a very prominent planet and a very prominent sign and a very prominent position. Mars in Elon Musk's Vedic horoscope is at 27 degrees 26 minutes of Capricorn. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Mars is exactly exalted at 28 degrees of Capricorn. This means that in this house, Mars is at the highest exalted placement that it can be in a Vedic horoscope. And this is the closest thing that you can find in this chart that would indicate why this individual is able to amass great wealth. Okay? Rahu is like putting this Mars on steroids. This is insatiable worldly desire. Okay? This essentially means that he is literally consumed, okay, with this desire to be able to accomplish something large, something big financially. Okay? And it's who he is. All right? Now, logically, when you look at his other chart, and I'm going to come back to that chart for a minute, look at all of the hard aspects in this chart. Pluto squaring the sun, Pluto squaring Venus. Okay? Possessiveness, controlling. All right. Also probably in the relationship with men, maybe the father, although I think his father may have left when he was young. Neptune squaring the moon, Neptune opposing Saturn. This is a very harshly aspected natal chart. And like I said earlier, you don't find a lot of support there for massive amounts of money. Okay, so this is an individual that's probably got some real problems when it comes to himself, when it comes to the truth, when it comes to a proper understanding of the principles of existence and of what his higher self might want to accomplish through him. It's not something that he's paying any attention to. The Saturn squaring the moon here in most people's charts indicates that he's not in touch with his feelings. All right, now, one of the things that I think, and this is just my own suspicion here, and I'll say it like this. When you're taking a look here at the Western chart, you'll see that Mercury is fairly close here to the ascendant. I would imagine that he has an extremely large intellect. I don't know what his IQ is, but I would imagine it's quite large, all right? But his karma is probably even larger. And karma is why you're able to do or not able to do things in your life. This is why karma is so important to understand. If you are having difficulties in your life and you're wanting to know or understand why it is that your life has been so harsh in one area, you can do your horoscope and look at the aspects to that house, the planets involved. Even better, if you know Vedic astrology, you can look at that and maybe even get some more clarity. I highly recommend that if you're an astrologer and you're only focusing on Western astrology, that you're missing a valuable tool in Vedic astrology, because it will much quicker, almost like a situation where you get a shortcut. Sometimes the Vedic chart is like a shortcut to what you're trying to say, where it may take you quite a bit of analysis over here on the Western chart to come up with an idea as to what's going on. Okay, and this is why I'm showing you the disparity here between Trump, okay, and Elon Musk, and why Elon Musk is much more wealthier than Donald Trump, obviously. And up until now, he's kind of been a bad guy, good guy that is kept quiet, but it's becoming obvious that on some level, Elon Musk wants to rule the world, wants to own it, wants to determine the destiny of mankind. That may be the ultimate thing, is that in some way, shape, or form, he may see himself as the savior of humanity because he is involved in SpaceX and in these other mechanical-oriented type of businesses. And that's, again, an indication here of, over here in the Vedic chart, of Capricorn. Okay, Mars has to do with machinery. It would include things like, spacecraft, cars, and things of that nature. And again, because of the position of Mars here being almost exactly at the point of its highest exaltation in the 8th house, all right, he in a sense karmically has been awarded this. Okay, now again, this is the hardest thing whenever I do charts, to try to explain to anybody about how karma comes into play here. Karma is essentially tied into karma, fate, and destiny. What that means is that before you were born, there was a plan that was set in motion the moment that you were born. And you were given a freedom to choose whether you would follow the path of least resistance or the path that society would throw into you, program you by, or whether or not, when you ran into difficulties and challenges, whether or not you would choose to take a higher path. Okay? That's really what karma is involved in. And whether or not you in a particular lifetime earn the, quote, things that you get, or whether or not you pay the price for things that you have done in a past life, probably. Maybe several past lives. So it's much more complex than saying that my name is such and such and I was born in such and such and my last name is this and I have a history genealogically of being in several families and they did this. We're talking about something much deeper, more profound than just the superficial outer view of life. We're talking about consciously the essence of a person and of why they are here, why they were born, what are they supposed to accomplish, how are they going to affect other people, all right? Mentally, that is difficult to digest. Mentally, it is difficult to digest. From the standpoint of inner awareness and conscious awareness, it makes perfect sense. And for those of you that are consciously aware that watch my videos, these things will be easier for you to swallow than for somebody who's just watching and has no idea what I'm talking about. Okay? And again, I try to be as open and honest about things as I can without scaring people away. But I know that talking about karma can be very uncomfortable, but it is for the person who is at a point to where they need to understand something about their life. Okay, a very important principle. It's more embraced in the East, in India, and many Eastern countries. All right, they embrace it because primarily they deal with Vedic astrology. But I can tell you from personal experience, and I can tell you from the different charts that I've done and stuff, that a Vedic chart is very real, very powerful, and capable of giving you information that a Western chart obviously doesn't. Okay, so keep that in mind. So, in a nutshell here, all right, these are two individuals that are destined, and in a sense, by their karma, they have been protected, or they have been given certain benefits that the rest of humanity don't have. There are other people that have those benefits karmically as well, but they're not Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Okay, and again, in the biggest picture of what we see going on here, we're seeing a situation where the super wealthy, okay, are wanting to be in control of everything, right? Probably because of the fact, as I mentioned earlier, that Elon Musk has some kind of idea that he's going to save humanity, okay? And of course, when you have billionaires that are not all bad, there are some that have understood that in the massing of their fortune, okay, and stuff, that they also have been able to help others less fortunate than they are. That is a responsibility of those that are that way. Not all of them think that way, obviously, right? But they understand that there has to be a balance, not only for, from the standpoint of karma, but for your own peace of mind, okay? We grow better when we share and help each other, okay? When we come out of our selfish center. To not come out of your selfish center can create a lot of personal pain for yourself and also for other people. And when you're talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, those are two individuals that are very self-centered, okay? In their own way, narcissistic. With Trump, it's much more brutal, obviously, because of that Mars close to his ascendant. And with Elon Musk, it's almost like he's detached from maybe the feelings of other people, because he's so focused solely upon the accomplishment of the things that he feels that he's supposed to do. Okay? Now, I'm going to throw something in here that, again, is going to be difficult to understand. All right? But maybe it'll help some of you that are suffering from the anxiety of what you see going on. All right? None of this would happen if it wasn't for our higher self, if it wasn't for the universe. There was a purpose and a plan behind it. Okay? It is something that was ordained prior to our being on the planet. It is something that as time moves forward will reveal itself. Okay? Whether it becomes the 7 years, that are talked about in the Bible in regards to the 7 years and the Antichrist and the beast is really debatable. Okay, although there seems to be kind of a situation developing here, particularly with Donald Trump, because we know more about him, his behavior, his attitude, that would fit, let's say, the beast in the book of Revelation. I'm not totally convinced that Elon Musk is the Antichrist, but again, he'll have plenty of time to prove himself, and we'll just have to see what happens, and he's already started to threaten Republicans in the Senate if they don't support the nominees for cabinet. Now, follow this with me. The reason why that Trump is putting unqualified people into the cabinets is because he knows that they will run those agencies into the ground. Trump will benefit by that. He'll be able to find ways through the nooks and crannies to enrich himself, which is his ultimate goal. Okay? It's probably even more so than that, but he's in a situation there with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk has the upper hand. The thing we're not quite sure of right now is how dark the energy of Elon Musk can become, how heartless it too might become. It's something that we're going to get a view of here relatively quickly over the next 4 years, if in fact everything comes to pass as it seems that it will, that Donald Trump will become the next president, these cabinet people. Many of them probably will not get in, okay, hopefully. But you can bet that all of them are going to have to swear loyalty to Donald Trump. All of them are going to have him looking over their shoulders when he runs their particular departments. All of them are going to basically be instructed to run it into the ground. That's kind of the dangerous situation that we're facing, is that what has been built up over 250 years in America with some, if not all of these people, is going to erode. Now, how that's all going to affect us is really, there's a great deal of uncertainty about that. It would seem logically that if Trump allows that to happen, that it's going to devastate America. And it may. It might. Okay? We may all have to find unique and individual and different ways to be able to survive. We may have to get back to the grassroots of love thy neighbor and actually do what you can because you know it's the right thing to do, because the country is run by a bunch of greedy, money-grabbing individuals. Okay? But that's only speculation. All right? That's only speculation. And that's the best that astrologers can do. It's the best that most seers can do. Okay? So, take what I'm saying, but with a grain of salt. But as far as the astrological factors here, you can see that with your eyes. Elon Musk is the wealthiest man in the world. Donald Trump is not only wealthy, but he's able to beat the judicial system. He's able to do things that nobody else is capable of doing. There's a reason for it. Okay, now, the reason for it is that the universe has a plan in place for a good part of humanity to ascend consciously. And what that means is that right now, most of humanity, mentally and emotionally, is fixated on just survival. They're not fixated upon becoming free of that. Most do not even know that exists. Okay? More and more people are becoming consciously aware of some great truths about themselves and about humanity. And all of this pressure that is being brought to bear upon us is to squeeze out of us the fear that for most of our lives has kind of been the backbone of our existence. Okay? This is really what we're talking about here. This is why we're seeing so many things happen and why it is so disturbing. It's disturbing to admit to yourself that below the surface that you're afraid, that you don't know, okay? And that you have chosen to live in denial because it was easy, okay? This is kind of the situation that we're in the world and also in the United States of America. And a lot of the factors around that are why Donald Trump was able to be elected, if in fact it was legitimate, okay? There's much more going on here than just the politics. And again, on that same note, I will say this, and I've said this many times to all of you when I do these videos. I strongly encourage you that if you have not begun meditating and discovering what meditation is and what it can do for you, that you make a concerted effort to do that. The reason is because these situations, if they come to pass logically without any kind of intervention, are going to create more anxiety and fear. All right? The only counter that you have against being consumed by your own fears are the conscious realizations about life that you don't know. Only meditation, unless you have an experience that is kind of preordained to occur, where spontaneously cosmic consciousness and something like that, you may awaken, right, and momentarily, but very few people become absolutely enlightened the rest of their life off of something like that. There may be a few gurus in India and stuff like that in different parts of the world that have that achievement. They've karmically earned that, so to speak. But most people live in denial and with a lot of unseen fear until they are presented with a situation unknown to them that is out of their control. And then you find out, really you find out, if you have hidden fear. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm done here. I hope I accomplished everything here that I was trying to accomplish, and I'm making sense to you out there that are watching this. And I know I did probably somewhere in there make some flub-ups because I'm 73 years old, and that's what happens sometimes. But for those of you that are members, for those of you that are subscribers and have been with me for 6 to 8 years, you know you're appreciated, you know that we love you, and you know that we do what we do because this is the work we've been given to do to help you deal with the changes and understand them, okay, which is to help you to cope with them. So thank all of you for that. Please keep in mind that both CJ and I do have over on the platform Substack, we actually have together 5 publications over there. Mine I've already mentioned. Hers are CJ's World and CJ's Whispers of Knowing, where she shares what her guidance gives her to share with you to help you to navigate through this maze of conscious awakening that at times can be very perplexing and very unsettling. So hopefully over there, it's good medicine for your heart to view what she's been given or what I've been given. Okay, it's what we get to share with you. So keep that in mind. And we look forward to being of more service to all of you. A lot of you, I think the 130 of my 6,100 subscribers have come over to the Astrology of Karma and Evolution, my other YouTube channel. And I'm posting most of the information that I get, that I put on Substack, in the Knowing Whispers publication, in that channel. Okay, I'm not putting it in this particular channel because of the fact I wanted to create an environment that was more suited for those of you that are more advanced or more further along in your awakening, so that you could interact with me and ask me questions that are beyond just, you know, the yada yada yada, so to speak, of the videos. And fortunately, there have been some folks over there that have begun to come out of their shell and to talk with me. And it is so helpful, okay? It is wonderful to be able to share with you what I'm given to share. But not until I hear back from you does it feed me, okay? And that give and take is critical. Okay, and the reason why it's so critical is because my guidance is there if you have questions and concerns to help you, okay? And I love sharing that knowledge or that insight, okay? But if there's no communication, all I can do is create videos or share with you the insights that I'm given, which I'm hoping that they're helpful to you. But there's so much more that we could do. And there is so much more that needs to be done. You know, this is one of the things that I felt, you know, beginning probably around October, November, when I started to go through the period that I'm going through right now where things kind of slow down. It's like I'm thinking to myself, oh man, what am I going to do? You know, I feel like that I've reached a point to where, you know, what Trump did and what I've been doing with Trump is kind of, that's over. You know, we're at that point. You know, I've been warning, and now this is what's going on. But over the last several weeks, I begin to feel like I've got to focus now on Elon Musk and the charts and the things that he does and the things that he doesn't do, because there's something important there that's not quite visible yet. All right. And on top of all that, it's important to be able to have a place where you can open up and share so that you're not alone, only holding what's inside of you, your fears and your anxieties. You need to be able to share that with somebody. It doesn't have to be, you know, with me or with the Astrology of Karma and Evolution channel, but it can be. You can get a lot of things explained over there to you about the awakening process because I've been through that. I'm going through that. You can get a lot of information about your higher self to the level to which I have gone through with that. All right? To try to help you to understand without all the misinformation that exists concerning it. And that doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm the only right voice out there. That's not true, okay? But there's some things that I can point out for you to help you to accept yourself where you are. To explain to you those things that happen as you begin to consciously evolve and to integrate consciously with your higher self. You will look at life differently. You will feel more at peace. You will realize that you don't have to be consumed by fear, by what you now perceive as a massive hijacking of the United States of America. And that's, again, really the primary objective for that particular YouTube channel, is to help to ease your anxiety and your pain by helping you to discover your own power. Okay, or to recognize that power. Okay, so come on over if you haven't. Okay, we got plenty of room over there, and share. Please share. All right. From the love of my life, CJ, my spiritual partner, my best friend, from our little 10-pound fur angel, Riri. We hope that you are getting prepared for the holiday season. Got your tree up. We got ours up, and that. In spite of all of the certainty or uncertainty, I guess, that you will have a wonderful holiday season, and that you will choose to make 2025 the best year of your life. Okay? Thanks for watching, and we look forward to sharing more with you. By the way, I will probably be doing a video on Nash Patel, the individual that Trump is considering for the FBI. Talk about a mess. Okay, and he's in for a real fight, from what I can tell looking at his horoscope. So I'll be doing something on that, and I'll probably be doing different charts along the way about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, depending upon how things go. And some of that's still not quite known, but there are other things that I'm starting to get back into that gear of, okay, this is what you want me to do. So focus on this stuff. Okay, so I'm feeling happier that way. I felt unemployed for a few weeks by the universe. That's not good. All right. Thanks again, and look forward to sharing more with you.